Have you ever just, stopped in the middle of your day and thought, why is there all of this instead of just nothing at all? I mean, it's probably the biggest, most mind-bending question there is. And today, we're going to dive headfirst into that very mystery. It's the kind of question that can really make your head spin, but honestly, it's also one of the most amazing things we can even think about. The philosopher Ludwig Wittgenstein absolutely nailed this feeling. He said, not how the world is the mystical, but that it is. See, he wasn't interested in how the universe works. That's a job for science, for physics. What he was getting at is the truly mystical, awe-inspiring fact that a universe, that anything, exists in the first place. That's the real puzzle. So let's just put the question right out there, plain and simple. Why is there a universe? Why is there anything? And this question, it goes deeper than cause and effect, because we're asking about the existence of the whole system of causes and effects itself. What could possibly explain, well, everything? Okay, so where do you even begin with a question that massive? Well, our first big clue in this cosmic detective story is something scientists call the fine-tuning of the universe. It turns out the reality we're living in seems almost impossibly, shockingly, perfectly set up for, well, for us. So the idea is this: the fundamental rules of our universe, things like the strength of gravity or the charge of an electron, they are balanced on an absolute razor's edge. If you were to just nudge any of these fundamental constants, even by the tiniest, most microscopic fraction, the whole thing would have been a bust. The universe either would have collapsed back on itself in an instant, or it would have expanded so fast that no stars, no planets, and definitely no life could have ever formed. And that's exactly why just saying, oh, we just got lucky, feels kind of unsatisfying. Think about it like this. In a normal lottery, yeah, someone has to win. That's not special. But our universe, it's more like a really strange lottery. Imagine you're told that out of 1,000 possible outcomes, only one single, very specific one allows you to exist. If that's the one that happens, you don't just shrug and say, wow, lucky me. No way. You start to suspect that something else is going on. And in the real world, the odds are so much worse than 1 in 1,000. Physicists have estimated that the chances of getting a universe that could support life just by sheer accident are less than 1 in a billion. I mean, that number is so small it barely even makes sense. A coincidence that astronomical practically screams for some kind of explanation. So, if it wasn't just some unbelievable coincidence, what could possibly explain this incredible fine-tuning? Well, philosophers and scientists have pretty much lined up 3 main suspects to try and solve this cosmic puzzle. Suspect number 1 is the oldest explanation we have, that the fine-tuning was done on purpose. This is the God hypothesis. It suggests that a conscious, intelligent creator deliberately set all the dials of the universe to the exact values needed for life to emerge. In this view, our universe is here because it was chosen. It was designed. The second option is to just face the odds and accept them. This is the coincidence hypothesis. It basically says, yep, it was astronomically unlikely, but it happened anyway. This view claims that our universe is what's called an ultimate brute fact. It just is, and there's no deeper explanation. We just happen to live in the one universe that won an unbelievably cosmic lottery. And our third suspect is the multiverse. This idea suggests that our universe isn't the only game in town. In fact, there could be countless others, maybe even an infinite number, and each one has a different combination of physical laws. If you print enough lottery tickets, one of them is bound to be a winner. And of course, we find ourselves in the one that permits life. We couldn't be anywhere else to sit around and wonder about it, could we? But just when we think we've got all the possibilities laid out, the philosopher Derek Parfit comes along and says we're not even asking a deep enough question. He argues that the real mystery isn't just about explaining our universe. No, it's about explaining reality itself. So forget our universe for just a second. Let's zoom out. Think of all the different ways reality itself could have been. Maybe reality is just one single universe created by God. Or maybe it's a giant multiverse. Or maybe it's just one single random universe that got lucky. The really deep question is, why is any one of these cosmic possibilities the one that's actually true? And this gets us down to 2 fundamental ways of looking at everything. Is reality a brute fact? It just is what it is, totally randomly, with no deeper reason? Or is there a selector, some kind of deep principle, some special feature that explains why this reality gets to exist, instead of all the other ones? So what could a selector even be? Well, we're not talking about a physical thing here, but more of an abstract principle. For example, maybe reality exists because it's the best possible one. That's the goodness idea. Or maybe it's because it's the fullest possible reality. Every single world you can imagine actually exists. Or maybe it's all governed by a principle of simplicity, or even by whatever is the most mathematically beautiful or elegant. Each of these is a potential reason why reality is the way it is. And this is where Parfit's argument gets really, really clever. He offers a way of thinking about this that doesn't exactly solve the mystery for good, but it makes it a whole lot less baffling. And it all comes down to one simple question. Where does the explanation finally stop? Look, we might never be able to explain everything, but instead of just accepting that our incredibly complex, fine-tuned universe is the ultimate unexplained brute fact, what if a simple, elegant selector is the brute fact instead? The chain of explanation goes like this. We ask, why our universe? And the answer is because of the selector. Then we ask, okay, but why that selector? And that might just be where the why questions have to stop. Just as Parfit puts it, it makes a difference where the brute fact comes. Think about that. Having an unexplained fact at the end of the line isn't really the problem. I mean, scientific explanations always end somewhere with some fundamental law we can't explain yet. The real goal is to push that final, unexplained thing as far up the chain of logic as we can. And that is the huge payoff right there. An unexplained universe with its 1 in a billion odds is just a baffling, head-scratching mystery. But an unexplained principle, like simplicity or fullness, is way less baffling. We've traded an impossible coincidence for an elegant, unexplained law. And when you're on a quest for understanding, that is a massive win. At the end of the day, we might never have the final answer. But just grappling with the question itself, as the philosopher J.J.C. Smart said, is a matter for the deepest awe. The very fact that we exist in a universe that is orderly enough for us to even ask these questions, maybe that's the most profound thing of all. So we'll leave you with this to chew on. If our existence isn't just some cosmic accident, if there is a selector, what feature do you think is so special that it forces reality to be this way? Is it goodness, simplicity, or maybe some kind of deep mathematical beauty we can't even comprehend yet? What do you think is the ultimate reason for everything?